What's going on, guys? This is Snoo603 from Shustybang, joined by Fake Thriller.
Hello, guys.
Also Shustybang, in case you didn't know. Alright, just real quick, what we wanted to cover in this video is Crysis 3, when is a good time to hipfire, and what's not a good time to hipfire. A lot of people coming to this game are going to be people coming from either Call of Duty or Battlefield 3, especially a lot of our subscribers here. You're all here for Battlefield 3, so going into a new game, that's kind of one of the things that you always are curious about. This gun, assault rifle or SMG. In this game, I can be really effective with hip firing, and in this game, it's not so good. I really want to stick to aiming down sight. So, we're going to tell you real quick what gun is really good for that and what gun sucks. So, first off, one of the guns that you get to unlock right away, the assault rifle. Definitely not a gun you want to try to hip fire with. It's kind of funny because you think Battlefield 3, the assault rifle was really, really good for hip firing. Maybe not so much for great range, but inside that close range, the 8 meters or so, maybe even 10 meters, it was actually very effective. Almost every single assault rifle is really good for hip fire capability. In Crysis 3, it's not. It's god-awful. I mean, outside of, say, 3 feet, it's actually really bad. The spread is really, really high. So, me personally, I think for the assault rifles, you really just want to stick to aiming down sight because the hip fire is not effective whatsoever.
And one of the things to keep in mind, too, when we say assault rifle, we're referring to the beta weapons, and the first available quote-unquote assault rifle is what Snoo's referring to. And one of the other things that makes it so poor from the hip is it's actually still affected by upward recoil. The aiming reticle will still be pulled up, as well as expanding its overall effective range. So it's much worse than you would initially expect. Now, surprisingly, the LMGs, which in I think just about every game have a notorious reputation for being god-awful at hip firing, in Crysis 3 that doesn't seem to be the case. It may be the lower rate of fire that keeps the LMG relatively manageable compared to the assault rifle. So while I wouldn't recommend charging into a close quarter battle with an LMG with the intent of doing nothing but hip firing, it is a valid weapon when you find yourself up close, maybe on a pod site or behind a couple of enemies that you want to dispatch quickly.
Right, and exactly. The whole point of this commentary, just to reiterate that point for anyone that may have not understood what we're trying to achieve, it's not that we're saying go ahead and hip fire with these guns all the time. It's for when the situation calls for it. If someone comes up onto you or you're running around the corner and you come across someone's path and you need to hip fire, you need to get out the shots quicker instead of taking that extra half second to aim down sight, this is what we're talking about. As far as the SMGs go, it actually performs exactly as you would hope. It's an SMG in pretty much every game. The effectiveness of the hip firing on SMGs is really, really good. In Crysis 3, it's no different. Only got to use, again, just the very first SMG I was able to unlock, and it's really good. It's actually really effective. It has a very good effective range. Nothing too crazy. It's probably about that mid-range where it starts to lose its effectiveness, and the recoil really isn't that bad. I was really, really impressed.
Moving into the next weapon we're going to talk about is just in general the pistols are amazingly good with hip fire. The bloom of the reticle is minimized, almost non-existent. However, I wouldn't recommend trying to take advantage of a pistol's low reticle bloom for any sort of long-range kills. The pistol should be used in reserve and hip fired when you're up close on a pod site or in tough close quarters battles, because if you ever get the chance to use the pistol for a long range fight, you'll find that aiming down the sights reduces its recoil to almost non-existent, and the only thing you have to deal with at that point is the visible view kick. But I think the pistols for the most part reset down to 0, giving you incredible consistency when aiming down sight. So it's kind of odd because the hip fire is fantastic for the pistols, but it is dwarfed in comparison to how good the aim down sight lack of recoil and spread is.
And that's actually really, really important to know, because if you like to snipe, you need to have this pistol, or just any pistol, on the ready. You need to know how to get to it, and you need to be very efficient with it. Because obviously with the sniper rifle, you want to try and take on people from long range, and if you are forced to try and hip fire with a sniper rifle because someone comes up on you just out of nowhere, they get a good flank or something, you are screwed. The hip fire effectiveness on the sniper rifles in most games isn't great, but I mean, even in Battlefield 3, it's actually not that bad. You can be fairly accurate hip firing with trying to go for your no scopes. In Crysis 3, just forget about it, throw it out the window, because I found it extremely difficult to get any sort of no scope or hip fire hit markers with the sniper rifle. So become very proficient with those very easy to use pistols, in my opinion, and you'll be fine if you're going to use a sniper rifle. But for God's sakes, don't ever try and rely on it for your hip firing.
And the final weapon setup that we're going to talk about today is the shotgun, and I found the shotgun to perform very consistently with other first-person shooters in the sense that it seems to be a toss of the coin as to whether or not hip firing actually affects accuracy, and we wouldn't really be able to know until somebody accesses the game files and looks at the probability and the spread rate of shotgun pellets. In our little backwoods testing arena that we just had, we found that aiming down sight and firing from the hip yields similar inconsistent results. Sometimes it's a one shot, sometimes it's a 3-shot. You never know.
Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this video. If there's any other informational things you want to know about Crysis 3 before you get into it, if you need any additional information to help you take that step towards looking into the game, playing the beta, or maybe even just taking that extra step to pre-order, let us know. We will definitely make anything it is that you guys want that is within our means. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.
Later, guys.